Hi, today we're going to take a look at a lens that's brand new on the market, the Rokinon 35 T1.5. Let's check it out. You know, there's a lot of really expensive glass out there in the Cine style. It means they've got gears on them and they've got some markings, and of course they're actually designed to mount on the lens sideways in the true Cine style rather than facing up. So what's been kind of amazing to me is that we haven't had a lens come out that was actually affordable. I mean, if you want to spend $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000, you can have a lens like this. So now that Rokinon came out with this lens for around $549, this is something that I think is pretty amazing. This is based on their 35 still lens, and most of the things from that lens have followed over. For example, the focusing turn is still about 90 degrees. It is internal focus, which means the lens doesn't change length as you focus, which is great when you've got a matte box set up on. The gear pitch is 0.8 and matches up with any follow focus you happen to have. Optical performance on this lens is again very much on par with the still lens because basically it is the same lens with a little bit of modification. This lens is really sharp wide open. There is a little bit of flare going on, but that's to be expected, especially with a very fast lens. And even so, it's still very minimal. Excellent for a modern lens. And once we stop it down, all of that goes away. The lens is just incredibly sharp and contrasty and is a great example of modern glass. Here are some low light shots that I did with this lens, taking in near darkness at high ISO. What I got from this lens was really pretty amazing. Of course, one of the things that people really get into is the bokeh of a lens. What does that out of focus part look like? Here are a few samples at different irises and focus ranges to give you a better idea of how this works. The woolly effect, which I had seen in the still lens, is still present, and the cat eye shape is also there. So what do I think about this lens? I think it's a great lens. Let's talk about a few things that I think could be better. For example, in the traditional Cine position, this lens marking is sideways so that whoever is running focus can see what the lens is doing. Now, the true big fancy Cine lenses have really big markings, much larger markings and more frequent ones. Well, here, for some reason, they got real skimpy on the focus distance marks, and I don't know why they did that. It seems kind of silly because the ink really wouldn't have broken their bank here, but they did what they did. I'm not too worried about that since usually you're making marks on the follow focus disc anyway. The iris ring actually is engraved. The inking on it is very bright. It's real easy to read. The focus marks themselves, again, on the lens is a little bit dark. Now, I just spent 3 days working with this lens, so I got a pretty good feel for it. When you've got it on the camera, the focus on this is really smooth. It works very well with the follow focus with a large gear. Absolutely thrilled with this because realistically, if I wanted to have this same sort of lens, I'd have to spend an awful lot more money stepping up into a Zeiss or a Canon or whatever. Now, in the past, there have been companies that have taken still lenses and modified them for Cine purposes. They'd add a lens barrel like this and gearing. But, you know, what would happen is you'd buy the lens, that was kind of expensive, and then you'd pay to have the mod done. And, you know, in the end, you'd probably get up to maybe 50% of the cost of one of those, quote, real Cine lenses. So what Rokinon has done here for basically adding only 50 bucks onto the price is truly amazing, and this is just a really great value. The feel of this lens is really great. It's heavy, it's got some mass to it, you know there's something in there. The focus is very smooth, it has just the right amount of resistance, and so does the iris ring. Instead of just removing the ball to declick it, they've put a little bit of dampening in it so that when you're handling this, you're not going to knock it out by accident. So the feel of this lens is really great. Here are a couple of examples that I shot on this lens. This is a really great film style lens.